if we can get started, please. Come on, let's go. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you all. Thanks for coming out this morning, everyone. Mr. Cuff, roll call.
Okay. Ms. Wilkins, not present.
Yeah.
Ms. Fitty,
Here.
Mrs. Hummel,
Here.
Mr. Burrell's not present at the time. Mr. Hobbs,
Here.
Ms. Richardson,
Here.
Mr. Cave,
I'm here.
Mr. Wright,
Here.
and Ms. Hoff.
Here.
So you have 7 board members present.
Okay, thank you very much. I expect the other 2. Here is how I would like today to work. We'll have 30 minutes of public comment, 3 minutes apiece. I would like to start with the folks that did not speak on Monday. And if you can take less than 3 minutes, that means we can take more folks. 3 minutes for each board member, and then we'll vote. Okay? All right, plan. Ms. Harbert, would you like to say anything?
I just want to say good morning and thank you for coming out this morning on a Saturday morning. Also, thank you to the board members for making this special meeting. I appreciate it, and I do look forward to working with you in the future.
Thank you. All right, comments from the public, starting with folks that did not speak on Monday. Okay, so Ms. Applegate and then Ms. Davis.
Good morning, Mary Ann Applegate, Darby Borough. I know you all know me, I'm a former employee. And I'm not quite sure what's happening here, but I do know that Jane has done an excellent job. And part of the reason, years ago, we hired a principal who said he was going to move his family here and they were going to go to our schools. Well, of course, that never happened. But Jane did. She became a member of our community. The staff felt very comfortable with Jane, and she, even when Mr. Bruni was here, she was working very hard with a lot of what was going on. I understand that people are upset. As I said, I'm not even sure where it came from or anything, but I just like it known that I think it would be rather chaotic, and I did watch the video, the YouTube meeting, and I'm sorry, I think this board generally does a good job, but I have never seen such chaos amongst the board members. Generally, if there's something on the agenda, you've spoken about it a lot more. I understand, I don't understand that you cannot blame the superintendent for some minor ills, some things that are going on. Right now, there is so much transiency, particularly at Green Avenue, with no principal. And there has to be a leader, there has to be an effective person. So, as I said, I understand, I'm not sure I understand where people are coming from, but I do know that it would be chaotic not to at least take action to keep Ms. Harbert on, if you change it to a year. There has to be some remedy to chaos, because that is what would happen if you voted down this contract today. And I don't think any of us, my kids went through this system. There's a lot of teachers here. We've got wonderful teachers in this district. And I don't think we can take it down to just a problem here, a problem there. We have to look at the overall picture and the job that's being done.
Thank you, Ms. Applegate. Ms. Davis?
Janice Davis, I'm president of Darby Borough Council, and what I wanted to know, I don't know if this has anything to do with it, but in a way it does. I want to know how much this board knows what's going on in the schools. Do they really know what's going on? Because for one thing, I can't understand that they have a free after-school program. Free. Does all the school board members know this? That they have a free after-school program and they are being charged, when before they had an after-school program and the school paid for that. Paid for that. Now these kids need help. And I think it's great that they have an after-school program where these kids do their homework, and it takes so much off of the teachers. When they come in, their homework is done. I can't understand why these people who are not charging the kids to go to this after-school program are being charged by the district.
Okay, is that all?
No, and I just think that maybe the board, and this is what I'm asking, the board, superintendent, like I read your newsletter the other day, last night I read the newsletter, and it said congratulations to the wrestling team. And that wrestling team, you know where they are for practice? They're at the recreation center for practice. They come there and they practice, and I don't understand that. And guess what? Darby Borough don't charge them. So why are other people being charged? You can't even go into school without being charged. And I don't charge them. Anything this school needs for that recreation center, they don't get charged. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Davis. We'll be discussing policy at the board meeting of the whole in February. Is that the 18th or 19th, someone? Or I'll announce the date. I don't want to take up anybody's time. Yes, ma'am.
My name is Yura. Now, this beginning of this year,
I'm sorry, your name?
I can't
my
hear
name
you.
is Yura. I can't really talk.
I'm sorry.
No problem. But this year, I started working in the district as a substitute secretary. Now, beforehand, before I even came to Pennsylvania, I let everybody know, now I let you know, I worked in the school system in various ways. First, I was a student. The next way, I was a parent. I was a substitute teacher. Then after that, I worked in the cafeteria and I worked in janitor services. I worked as an aide. So I've been in the school system in various ways. What I can't understand is how administration, teachers, security cannot control a minimum amount of students who are the main ones who are causing all the ruckus.
Their parents don't do anything.
When it's more than just the parents. It's the community, just like the truth, just like it says, it takes a village to raise a child. Now, when you take that authority away from the administration, kids know, okay, I can run the school, and they do. I'm in the elementary, and before I started working, I visited where my children went. I visited the elementary, I visited the high school. These kids are running amok, and teachers are scared. What can I do? What's my limit? What can I do? And some things are brought up. Oh, we'll work on it, we'll work on it. People are tired of hearing that. Parents are tired of hearing that. We need to see some type of action, point blank. And it's all of our responsibilities. Parents, come to the meetings. Don't just come up to the school, well, you can't say this to my child. You can't do this to my child. So what do you want me to do? Sit here and babysit your child? I'm a football mom. I'm a wrestling mom. And I'm point blank, and I tell you, when I see you, when I talk to you, your child in my presence is my child. You don't want me to say nothing to your child? Sorry, that's not how it goes in my world. I'll take the blame, I'll take the flack. If I lose my job, if I see your child doing wrong, I don't care whose child it is. I'm going to say something. I'm going to correct your child. And enough of y'all have known me and seen me. Now, if my child comes to the school, guess what? I want the teachers, I want administration to do their job with my child. If you can't do that with my child, then guess what? You need to find another occupation. I'm being very honest, and I'm not trying to be disrespectful and say somebody, but this needs to be done. I'm getting ready to stop, but this is the thing. Jane, I love you with all my heart, but if you get back into this position, please try to really be more active in the actions. That's all we're asking. And I'm done.
Anyone else want to speak?
Dawn,
Dawn?
mother of 3 in the district. My family's been very invested in the school district, from my husband's family, going through all of them graduating in the district, as well as my kids who are currently in the district at different levels. My kids have different academic levels. They also are involved in extracurricular activities. So what I'm hearing, the village, and that's what it takes. We're on the same team. We all are. And I appreciate the differences of opinion, concerns, because they're real. Accountability. I hear accountability, I hear expectations and solutions. Accountability, we hold our children accountable. We, as parents, need to be held accountable. We need to hold our teachers accountable, staff, coaches, our board. We're on the same team. The school board has given us, I know Mo shared, what we can do and given us resources to hold the board, the teachers, the administration accountable. So this is definitely something that they're hearing, and I'm sure lots have been learned since Monday night. All right, so take advantage of what they're offering to be heard. Not just here, but go to those other subcommittee meetings where you can talk and share. My kids are thriving. Hear me, my kids are thriving. Hear me, it's not perfect. Many nights, tears. Many nights in bed, holding my children. They're crying because of certain things that are happening. When I hear that, I talk to people, I talk to teachers, I talk to administration. What can we do to help? And that's what we need to do. And I know the teachers here, in my experience, they have come alongside my family to help them when there's a need. I've seen teachers go far beyond, outside of the classroom, to do things for the children I'm involved with. Thank you, 1 minute. My daughter's involved with extracurricular marching band. Yeah, when we go to marching band, we go to other schools, wow, they come in with their nice vehicle. We have our rented vehicle, but you know what? What they represent is far more than what our instruments are, Yeah, we have the Penske van, and they have their name splashed. But what they represent, respect. When they leave the competitions, they pick up all their trash off the bleachers, all right? So there's so much more, even outside of academics, that these teachers, administration are teaching life and how to cope with it. So yes, keep on holding our teachers and our administration accountable. And let's do something. We're on the same team. We're here for the same fight, and that's for our kids. And I know these guys, they roll up their sleeves to do so. When we fail, we make it known. Let's do something. Let's help. Let's work through it together. All right, and this is where picking it apart, that's where the divide comes. So coming together. Thank you.
Thank you. In the back, please.
My name is Shanti Hargrove. I'm a mother of a second grader at Walnut Street Elementary School. I just want to talk on the topic of spelling and grammar. I understand that that's something that wants to be taken away from our students in the classroom. So recently, my son's homework included poetry and talking about what his dream would be. And he has a project due next week regarding Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. I'm not sure how he or any other students are going to successfully get that done without being taught spelling and proper grammar. They are told that their projects will be hung through the hallways for people to see, but people may not understand them because they can't read what they're writing. The grammar is not okay. So it looks good, it sounds good, but is it really good? And are we teaching our students that accuracy isn't important? There are standards in place for your spelling and for writing and things like that. So what happened to the research that led to those standards? Are we just doing away with that? I'm not sure what's going on here. My son needs these things to be successful in this project. Fortunate for him, he has a mom and dad at home that can help him in these areas, but not all students are that fortunate to have that. So I'm not sure, like I said, why something like that would be taken away from the students in the classroom being taught how to spell properly through spelling test or with grammar.
Thank you. Mr. Wright, do you have the basic education?
It's
There will be an education meeting on February the 16th. That is the tentative date. It will be advertised, and our topic will be many of the things that you're discussing, the grammar, the writing.
Thank you, Ms. Herbert. And I wanted to correct the date. Tuesday, February 21st is the Board of the Whole, where we'll be discussing policy. Anyone else want to speak? Yes, ma'am, in the back. Then I'll come to you. Yes, ma'am. Hi.
My name is Hakima Jabbar. I'm a Gaydon resident, mother of 4. 3 children are in the district. I'm actually quite impressed with everyone coming out here. We were talking about accountability on behalf of our administrators, but we need to take accountability as parents. I am also in the Home and School Association, very active, and our crowd is maybe like probably 4 every month. Out of the families, we have 400 students. So I say all this to say that we need to be active with our home and school associations, getting ideas, suggestions, and things like that, and then bringing it to the table to our directors and our teachers. So, I just want to say that we need to be accountable for our own actions as parents as well.
Great, thank you.
Good morning, everybody. 3rd grade teacher from Caldwell Elementary School. My name is Kevin Riley. I want to thank Jane. In my classroom, we're very accountable. We have students working with each other. There's team cooperation skills that we teach throughout the entire year, that then go out through the entire building. I'm the head of the positive behavior support team, and on that team, we basically come up with ideas for students to be successful. All the people who have spoken thus far about being accountable for the students, you're absolutely right. Whether it be coming from Ms. Harbert, me, the teacher, the parents, substitute teachers, cafeteria staff, principal, we all have to work together. I thank Jane for giving me the opportunity, obviously every year that she's been here to work together. I've been in Caldwell since 2003. The superintendent at that point was Mr. O'Toole. I see him Caldwell grow. Since 2003, when it opened again, Caldwell has grown. My class last year happened to be #1 in the district in reading, and that comes through hard work from the parents, the teacher, the board, our support staff. Ms. Harbert gave Caldwell last year Ms. Morris, who really, for me, was very good in making sure that my kids in that classroom succeeded. So this year, nothing's really different. We have kids doing their best to work together, and I hope that that continues throughout the rest of this school year and other classes coming up from 1st, 2nd grade as well. So I appreciate the time to speak today. I appreciate and thank you, Jane, for everything you've done for Caldwell. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else? Yes, ma'am.
Hi, I'm Debbie Fletcher. I work at Bell Avenue School. My daughter went throughout Penn. She started at Walnut. She's now a graduate of Lincoln. And I didn't get a chance to say anything last time, but I wanted to say that I really appreciate Jane. Jane has been very visible in our schools. She comes out, she visits, she's very personable. I can't say that for all of the superintendents that we've had here. So I just want to say to her, Jane, no matter what the turnout is today, know that we know at Bell that you've done your best. The reading program, we know that it had to have a change done to it. And yes, that change is going to be done. She's, out looking and talking and asking people, what is it that I can do? I've never seen another superintendent do that, and I would not stand here and lie. I've only been with the district 15 years. At Bell, I've had about 5 principals. They've all been great. Why they're not there, I don't know. But whichever principal comes to Bell, we all pull together. We're like a big family there. And I just appreciate, I don't even know all of the board, but just the smiles, sometimes talking. I know a few, like Mr. Wright, who comes to our school. This is a serious thing. And parents need to know, we can't do it without a superintendent. And I said we can't do it without Jane.
Thank you. Anyone else want to speak? All right, hearing none. Thank you.
You said now, You said that let the people speak first, that didn't speak
Correct.
before,
Would you
so
like-
are you allowing?
Yes, would you like to speak?
Yes. Hi, my name is Janelle Frame. I have 2 students in William Penn School District. Not only that, I run a group called Sophisticated Ladies, and it's for teen girls ages 13 to 17. And we meet every Thursday at the rec center. So not only am I hearing, going through things with my kids with the district, but I sit and hear these girls. I sit and hear the stories. I sit and hear them be bullied. Different things inside the school that's going on. You can't point one finger. I feel like this school board was elected to help the parents, the people, the children. So I just feel like for once, maybe y'all should hear the people out. I just think maybe we should hold off. I know we need a superintendent, but I just really haven't. I hear about all these changes, but I really haven't seen no action. I mean, I really haven't. This Penwood was just out of control until the council, the police, and the residents finally stepped up, and we finally got an officer to go inside the school district, inside Penwood Middle, but I don't think it was because of the school district. I think it was because the council and the residents fought for it, and the cops got tired of coming for calls. I mean, I just feel like it's really time for a change. It really is. We need to change something. Like this lady spoke, the kids are disrespectful. I'm up there sometimes walking. I'm very, very active in my community. I go to Penwood Middle, walk girls home so they won't get jumped, and it's sad. It's sad the things you see in security. Oh, we can't go down that far. Oh, we're not going down that far. It's just, I don't think it's enough love and care no more in the schools. It's not enough. And anybody, my son, Mr. Gort, they'll tell you, I don't care. Get on my son. The security will tell you, I'll tell him. Don't play with him. Get on him. If the school calls me, I'm there. I'm very active. And my thing is, we can't focus on who's not active. I run a free program. I don't charge them girls anything. They're provided T-shirts, snacks every week, and me and Jacqueline Towns, we do that out of our own pockets. I can't focus on what their parents won't give me, because if I focus on that, it would be no group. And them kids need somebody. Some of them girls are 16 and don't know the basics, don't know about HIV, don't know about Planned Parenthood, none of that. And if I went on what their parents don't do, it wouldn't be a program. My thing is, we can't focus on who's not active. We have to fight with who we have. And we need somebody strong that's going to stand up for our kids. And I just hope that you guys that were elected, hear these people's voices and y'all make the right decision today.
I just want to ask a question.
You have to stand. Thank you, Ms. Whitman.
Are there any parents here that attend Walnut Elementary, got kids at Walnut Elementary?
Ma'am, if you want to make a comment about Ms. Harbert,
Oh, no, I just want to ask them, will they do something? I want a parent-teacher conference.
Okay.
Will they come out?
Okay,
That's
but-
all I'm asking.
thank you. I don't want to take time away from anyone that would like to
Please
talk
come
about
out.
Ms.
We need
Harbert.
somebody there.
Anyone else want to talk about Ms. Harbert?
I want to speak.
Yes, sir.
Hi, I'm Walter Rodriguez. I live at 11B Hillview Circle in Yaden or Lansdowne, depending what kind of mail I get. I was a former employee of this school district, so I got to know exactly what's going on, how people are being supported, how they're not being supported. And I'm here representing change. But the type of change that I'm representing is systemic change, because we don't have that here. We do not have a strategic plan that leads the way for anyone here, and it really hampers Ms. Harbert to be able to do what it is that she's supposed to do. You can put anybody you want in that seat over there, it's not going to get done. All you guys are going to suffer, everybody else is going to suffer, we're going to continue to move forward, and we're still going to get the same results and live in misery. Things have to change. I had an opportunity, I left the school district because I felt I wasn't being supported as a principal. And I watched my staff work as hard as they could to get things done, and there were obstacle after obstacle in the way. But I had an opportunity that God put in my way to be a national presenter and a national coach for principals, superintendents, and district level officials. And I see what's going out there. I see the qualities of a high-performing system, which is all we want to do here for our kids, to give them half a chance, to give them opportunities for education, and be able to compete with the best. That's what the parents expect. That's what we need to give them, but we haven't, so let's face it. What I'm talking about is a coherent system that includes a strategic plan to fortify the high-quality aligned instructional system, meaning you guys, to create high-quality teachers and teaching in front of every kid that goes to this school, and then to be able to create management systems so that we're working together to help support when things happen or gaps are created. The other part is the culture. The culture stinks here. There's a blame game going on every level, and we need to stop. Blame games are not going to get us where we need to be, which is college or career readiness for all of our students. Every single one of them, no matter how you care about them or not, they belong to someone. And lastly, the board. Some of you sitting on the board should really recuse yourself from this vote. Some of you who interrupt other colleagues while they're trying to talk and give their opinions, that's not what we elected you for. We elected you to listen to us, no matter how difficult it may be in your ears, but we pay the taxes. I pay almost $8,000 in taxes. And when I see the products that are produced in the school district, I say, where is my money going to? So as a tax-paying citizen, a former employee, and support for you guys, I'm saying, Ms. Harbert, we need a strategic plan. We need to get everybody on board. This infighting needs to stop. Ms. Hoff, your influence on this board is seen by everybody sitting here. And it needs to be in a proper way. This is not Burger King. You can't have your way all of the time. Let me finish. We are the tax-paying citizens. And we want you guys to support us. And when you hear us, take some action. But these folks here cannot do their job if they have no sense of direction. They go into the building and try to do their best. And when they say, we need this, or this is going on, or whatever, what do you guys hear? We can't do anything about it.
We'll get back to you.
We'll get back to you. And then it doesn't even come on a board report meeting. But I just want to say, Jane's a friend of mine. All I'm here for is change. But systemic change that you can be a part of, they can be a part of, and show some sort of results that our kids are getting closer to being qualified to go to college and your career. So that's all we want.
Thank you, Mr. Revy.
I would comment.
Yes, sir.
I'm Mark Anthony French, taxpayer, business owner, parent, and parent of a kid here. We came over from the private school system. I travel for business. I'm a little red-eyed looking. I came down from Boston last night driving because I wanted to come back for this weekend. My son's 16th birthday. He doesn't, and he won't watch this until afterwards. And for this meeting, okay? Let me say that I don't know Jane on a personal basis, but since we've come, well, even before we became parents of the school district, every event, every school renovation, every opening, every art exhibit, every band event, for all of these years, I'd be shaking her hand because she would be there every Wednesday night, every Saturday morning, and every time I came and I asked a question, she's been there. And she's been able to answer and ask questions of me and make sure that I'm doing my part as a parent as part of the process. We are not the world's best school district. Let's face that. We're also not the best economic district. Some days we're not even the best parents. But we are scrappy and we are determined and we work hard and we show up. I've got family and friends that are on school boards and in band positions and are part of education foundations from Massachusetts to Carolina, so I get to hear and compare. And they pat me on the back and go, yeah, we see you guys in the news. We applaud what you're doing to try to get school funding reform. We applaud what you're doing for all the different programs and the STEM programs, the Arduino workshops, the fact that our band holds its own with a fraction of a budget, that our kids, ballroom dancing? Come on, we have award-winning ballroom dancers from elementary schools. Where's that come from? That comes from people giving a lot to this job. 10 years is one heck of an internship to do this new job. 10 years. We can't get that from anywhere else. We can poach another person from somebody else, but they don't have our dirt under their fingernails. They didn't build the playgrounds. They didn't go down and yell at the Pennsylvania Supreme Court. They haven't been here for that entire process the way some of these folks. So, yes, it's not perfect, but they hear us, they work with us, they represent us in ways that other places don't always give their families and their kids. So, I thank you.
Thank you, Mr. French. Anyone else want to speak? We have 2 minutes left.
Hello, I'm Jamela.
Excuse me.
Please give her respect.
Sorry, I'm Jamela from Lansdowne. I just want to say I've been, one of the front runners fighting for our district to get fair funding. I attend many of the board meetings. I've been on the board at Ardmore Avenue Elementary School as a homeschool president, at the middle school and at the high school. I understand what it takes as a parent and a community member. I voted for you guys to be in your positions, and I just ask that you hear our voices. We have some deep problems, and things don't happen overnight, but I've been here for almost 9 years. And I can honestly say that the problems that I saw 9 years ago have changed, and it has become different problems now. But the bottom line is our children do not have the same or the tools that we need to ensure that they are capable of surviving in society. The simple fact is our technologies, the things that we offer our kids, they sound great, but all of our kids don't get to experience those things. As I saw my daughter, my oldest daughter, go from the elementary school to the middle school to the high school, I understood the difference between her education and my middle child. So every child needs to be met on whatever level they're on. So we have to listen to our parents. We have to listen to our teachers. We're not saying that everything everybody says is going to work, but you have to at least be open to listen. So that's one of the things that I encourage you guys to do as y'all make your decision today. Listen to our community base. We all have a stake in this. Our children matter to us. That's all I have to say.
Thank you, Ms. Miller. Okay. I'm sorry, we're at the end of the 30-minute period. We're going to start with 3 minutes for each school board director. We'll start on that side and go around.
Should we introduce the motion first? Is that what?
So wait a minute, the public is done?
Yeah, as we stated, we did 30 minutes of comment, then 3 minutes for each school board director, then we would take the vote.
Jen, can you verify, when was that stated, sweetheart?
When I started the meeting.
Excuse me, we received an email. Hi, I'm Melinda Tax. I'm a Penwood Middle School teacher. We received an email this past week, I think it was Thursday or Friday, that said the teachers would be able to speak.
I asked everyone to.
Well, she raised her hand back here, nobody called. She kept raising it.
Okay, so listen, I will let one teacher speak, because I've been asking twice.
We submitted a letter as Penwood Middle School, we just want it to be read.
We want it to be read.
Okay, could you read it?
It's a long letter.
It was
What, Charlotte has it?
It was submitted.
I don't know how I got it. Somebody handed it
Yes.
to me. Who handed it?
Okay, I didn't see it. He passed to me. I didn't see it.
Yeah,
I didn't.
It's like 5 pages.
Well, read some.
and the note that I took was, obviously, there's some really concerns at the middle school we need to address.
Can you guys summarize it, because I'm not gonna have a school board director
We
read
need
it.
it to be read.
Can I promise that we will read it?
Just some background information, just why we want it read. We met with our building teachers, And we all composed this together. We had 44, what does it say? 41 out of 55 teachers put this together, and we just wanted it to be read. We didn't want one teacher to be pointed out as the reader. We wanted the board to read it because it represents us as a building.
Okay, we didn't get it. I don't have a copy of it.
She just
I'm
said
gonna-
she got it.
I'm gonna read it.
Mr. Burrell gave it to me this morning. I haven't had a chance to read it.
I'm gonna read it.
Well, okay, but wait a second. Wait a second. Wait, time. Ms. Hummel, time.
Can I make a suggestion?
Please, let's just keep this in order.
I'd like to make a suggestion. It seems to me that you would like, we would like everybody to hear it, but it's important that the board hear what you said, okay? Because we're gonna make the decision.
Can I read this?
What I'd like to do
Yes.
is, I would like to, before we make the motion and discuss it, for the board, to, us as a group, to be able to read the letter.
I'm gonna read this letter.
Thank you.
41 out of 55 Penwood Middle School teachers were surveyed and asked, will you support a letter to the Board of Directors written on behalf of our staff to express dissent at the reappointment of Jane Harbert as Superintendent of William Penn School District? 38 teachers responded yes, 1 teacher responded no, and 2 abstained from responding. This letter has been written on behalf of 93% of teachers surveyed at Penwood Middle School who do not support the appointment of Jane Harbert as superintendent. Jane Harbert is caring and a committed person. No one can dispute that. During her year as acting superintendent of the William Penn School District, she has demonstrated time and time again that she cares about the students and that she is committed to her role as leader of the school district. The purpose of this meeting is to determine what kind of person Jane Harbert is, but to determine how effective of a leader she has been and will be as the superintendent of William Penn School District. Despite her kindness and good intentions, Ms. Harbert's ineffectiveness as superintendent is evident. At Penwood Middle School, the actions and inactions of Ms. Harbert have directly affected the quality of education provided to the students. As the following examples will show, Ms. Harbert lacks the leadership qualities needed to effectively lead the William Penn School District. According to the standards set by state certification authorities, the duties of superintendent include interpreting and clarifying the purposes and needs of school district to board, staff, students, and public, coordinating the total education program and providing leadership in its development and improvement, guiding the process of fiscal planning and budgetary development interpretation, assuming final responsibility for the selection, assignment, dismissal, and evaluation of all personnel, directing staff negotiations with professional and non-professional personnel, coordinating the work of administrative staff members, providing counsel and motivation, and fostering a spirit de corps, representing the district in its dealings with other school systems, institutions and agencies, community organizations, and the general public, directing studies and planning related to school organization, enrollment, attendance area boundaries, and school plant requirements, overseeing the process and submission of required reports, exercising leadership in the development and execution of the school community relations program, assuming ultimate responsibility for the assignment of students in the various specialized areas of administration, including student services, business management, plant management, transportation, and food services, keeping the board informed about the status of the school district as well as educational trends and practices, initiating and guiding the development of policies for board consideration and developing such administrative rules and procedures as may be necessary to implement board policies, performing such other duties as may from time to time to be assigned by the board. Below are the observed deficiencies in the superintendent's education-related duties. Interpreting and clarifying the purposes and needs of school district to board staff, students, and public. Ms. Harbert has been addressed by students, teachers, and parents about the effectiveness of SFA at the elementary and middle school levels. There are concerns that SFA does not adequately prepare students for success in college on state tests were ignored repeatedly. Teachers who communicate concerns about the implementation or overall success of the program are told to find jobs elsewhere. The addition of the SFA program at the middle school required additional staff and resources that were not provided.
As a result, implementation of the program has been detrimental to the stability of the middle school in several ways. The schedule has been changed numerous times to accommodate for SFA, but it just doesn't work. The middle school is structured with small learning communities, but because of the limitations produced by SFA, we are unable to maintain this structure. The virtual destruction of our small learning communities has resulted in a huge decline in communication with the students, parents, and has caused many inconsistencies regarding student discipline and activities. These day-to-day inconsistencies have negatively affected the educational process for both students and staff members. Although additional teachers were needed to effectively implement the program, with Fidelity, only one was provided, and this was after the school year had already begun. Lack of consistent discipline remains the biggest concern of teachers at Penwood Middle School. The district-provided discipline code is not followed consistently due to the lack of support from central administration and providing serious consequences for egregious student misbehavior. Building administrators were told to reduce suspension, but no alternative consequences were offered or supported. And even though these concerns were reportedly directed to Ms. Harbert by teachers and building representatives, her absence in the building was consistent and evident. Coordinating the total education program and providing leadership in its development and improvement. SFA was implemented at the middle school without adequate training, personnel, or resources. Training was provided only days before students began the school year, giving the teachers little time to prepare. English language arts teachers are teaching separate subjects, reading and writing, which requires planning, grading, and supervising double the number of students as teachers in other subjects. In addition to the lack of SFA training, the bell schedule at the middle school was changed multiple times throughout the school year and ultimately resulted in our current schedule consisting of 55-minute periods. And the training provided to English teachers, SFA trainers insisted that teachers would need 60 minutes to execute the daily lesson plans with Fidelity. The eSchools grading tool was unavailable to middle school teachers until the second marking period and not accessible to parents until after the winter holiday break. Teachers began the school year unprepared to issue accurate grades and to hold students accountable for their academic progress or failure. Assuming final responsibility for the selection, assignment, dismissal, and evaluation of all personnel. At the close of last school year, English teachers were asked to prepare a proposal for a writing curriculum for the year to come and to send it along to the central administration for review. The former was executed in a timely manner, but latter was not. Countless emails were sent inquiring about the proposed curriculum, but still feedback was not given. As a result, the teachers and students of Penwood Middle School began the school year with nothing to serve as a curriculum for writing English classes. In mid-September, the proposed curriculum was scrapped without reason, and teachers were invited to write a new one at the expense of the district. Despite ongoing safety issues, additional security officers have not been added to ensure the well-being of students and staff at the middle school. A uniformed police officer was added very recently at the cost and insistence of the Darby Police Department.
Yes.
The request for additional security officers from the district has been made and ignored multiple times.
Yeah.
Coordinating the work of administrative staff members, providing counsel and motivation, and fostering an Esprit de Corps. Esprit de Corps, or a feeling of pride, is essential to school building. Instability is counterproductive to building pride within the staff, student body, and school community. Middle school students need stability more than most, which is why a school without an actual bell system undermines the staff's ability to provide consistent stability in a very minor but major way. The bell system was fixed eventually, but starting the school year without consistency of bells caused much strife at Penwood Middle School. As a superintendent and a leader, it is important to provide counsel and motivation consistently throughout the school district. At the middle school, where much instability and confusion exists, Ms. Harbert's presence does not. In a building that has seen a turnover in staff, the hiring of 3 new principals, multiple bell schedules, curriculum changes in language arts, and a variety of other impactful changes, Ms. Harbor has not exhibited the loyalty to her staff the PDE would expect. Conversely, the 9th grade academy has received tremendous support and focus since its inception. 9th grade students were greeted with everything our William Penn students deserve, including new technology, but the same cannot be said at the middle school, where the largest gaps in learning seemingly exist. As Ms. Boykins said in her passionate speech at the last board meeting, I'm a microbiologist and I need data or KPIs. If data was reviewed, it would certainly show that the middle school is where new technology, resources, and support of a leader are needed most. Instead, teachers must sort through the variety of quick fixes thrown at them with only limited support from the district and even less planning time. Representing the district in its dealings with our school systems, institutions and agencies, community organizations, and the general public. The Darby Police Department has taken action in the absence of support by our district leadership. A uniformed police officer has been assigned to be a presence in the middle school where consistent support is much needed due to trickle-down gang elements from the high school campuses. Directing studies and planning related to school organization, enrollment, attendance area boundaries, and school plant requirements. The middle school is the newest building in the district. However, the lack of consistent maintenance and cleanliness has caused a great deal of deterioration. The heat and air conditioning works inconsistently, which negatively impacts the educational environment for both students and staff. The staff entrance door has been broken for years, which poses a serious safety concern as it must often be left unlocked to allow for staff entrance to the building in the morning. Work orders are submitted daily, but nothing really gets fixed. There are broken bathroom fixtures throughout the building, some that have remained out of order for years now. There is gang graffiti and inappropriate language scrawled throughout the school building. Teachers provide instruction in classroom with non-working lights and broken classroom doors. Mice and cockroaches are a daily presence throughout the building. As the superintendent, it is Ms. Harbor's responsibility to oversee the maintenance department and ensure that our school buildings are clean and comfortable. The deplorable conditions are disgusting and show a clear lack of leadership. Keeping the board informed about the status of the school district as well as educational trends and practices. There has been mention made of the school being in a need of a new science curriculum. The issue has been discussed at board meetings by board members, by parents, and by Ms. Harbor. Ms. Harbor has acknowledged that an upgrade is in need. However, just last year, the district purchased new textbooks and paid teachers to write a new science curriculum for 7th and 8th graders. A true leader would be knowledgeable about these things and would be able to provide informed decisions to the board and/or the concerned citizens of the district. Again, the teachers of Penwood Middle School do not dispute the motivations of Jane Harbor, but we dispute her ability to execute the responsibilities as the leader of our district. Our staff and students deserve a superintendent that embodies every quality the position requires. Something you hear a lot throughout the William Penn School District is that we do what's best for kids. As leader of this school district, Ms. Harbor has failed to do what's best for our kids. Our kids deserve better. The William Penn School District needs someone who will lead the district towards success, and as demonstrated in the above examples, that person is not Jane Harbor.
Thank you, Ms. Boykins. Okay. All right, Ms. Hummel, will you read the motion, please?
Sure. The motion on the agenda is the appointment of the superintendent to appoint Jane Ann Harbor as superintendent of schools for a term commencing March 1st, 2017 through June 30th, 2020. I just mentioned that a contract has to be offered at a minimum of 3 years. There is no less than a 3-year contract, no more than 5. At a salary of $167,000, subject to the negotiation and agreement of a written contract.
May I have a second, please?
Second.
Thank you. Around the room, please.
And in regards to public comment?
Sure, okay. Ms. Hummel?
No, I'll defer to the end, please.
Go ahead.
Or actually, you know what, I would like to start.
Okay.
All right, so since I have 3 minutes, please keep me on time. I have spent a great deal of time, and I'll speak to the board too, but also to the audience, since Monday to review my own behavior and reaction to everything that has gone on. Because I, like Ms. Boynton, and I think you would agree, are pretty passionate about what goes on here. We may disagree on strategy and tactics, but I think our passion is not to be questioned, and I don't question the passion of anyone else. I have been suffering like many Americans from the past week of national politics. You may agree, you may not, but there's been a cloud hanging over my life. I have my own family concerns, which are personal but part of my life. And then, of course, the biggest part of my life in the community is the William Penn School District and has been for 16 years. Again, I'm a parent of a K-12 2 times over, both of whom are successful. One in the Navy, training to be an officer, one as a graduate student. So as I struggled all week in my prayers about how inappropriate some of my comments were, how mean some of the things said by me and by others to me, a lot of people refer to the WWJD. What would Jesus do? Well, that's not particularly my bent, but so my thing last night, it came to me last night all of a sudden because I've been struggling so hard, and out of the blue came WWMRD. What would Mr. Rogers do? Now, I use that as an example not to be funny or to be cute. I grew up with Mr. Rogers on TV, and also I met him personally. He went to my in-laws' church. He saved public television for children. He lost a son through drug addiction, and all the time remained humble and caring and even. That is not what I have been this past week. So I have not done what Mr. Rogers does, and I'm humbled and embarrassed to say that when I met him before he passed away over 10 years ago, he grabbed my hands and he looked me in the eye and said, "I've heard a lot about you from your mother-in-law," who is a talker. "And you know what? I think, too, you're a very special person." Well, you could have knocked me over, because the only time I'd ever heard that was through the television, and I know he was saying it to everybody. Well, I think I've let Mr. Rogers down, so I'm going to tell you where I am. My vote on Jane has not changed. I will elect Jane for any number of reasons I can talk to you about. But here's what my job is. There are issues going on here, and always have been, but specific issues is we have issues with major changes of curriculum, SFA. I need data. I need to know who it's working for, who it's not working for, what the startup problems are where it's brand new, like in the middle school and some of the elementaries. What has to be tweaked, what has to be, but I need data. I need to know. It's my responsibility to know what the hell is going on. And finally, I need to take the experiences of individual people in the district, I have been one, to see if they are individual issues for children where a child needs particular help, or whether they are symbolic and informative of bigger issues. And I need to tease out which is which. And if a kid drops through the system, we need a plan on how they get that help. And if it's indicative of a larger problem, we need to deal with the larger problem. That's my commitment in the district.
Ms. Boykin?
Thank you, Mr. Rodriguez. One thing I want to say is this vision is very important. And as a superintendent, Jane, it is important for you to have a vision. And I would like you to push your vision. One thing I want to say to the community is that when I met with Jane a few Fridays ago, we sat and we had a great discussion. And my biggest thing was about community. It was about community. And let me tell you, and from my talking to her, when a superintendent can tell you, I ask questions about special education, she can tell you the names specifically of some of the kids that have certain issues. That means a lot. When you can point out and say, this kid that goes to this school, we have to work on this, Mo. And you know, sometimes people, and I'm saying in the world, we forget about our kids that have special needs. You know, we forget about those kids. But let me tell you, she can tell us by name. To me, I felt like that was like a connection that I had with her, and that our district, we need to work, we need to see. I really feel like, yes, the vision, I really feel like, yes, we need to make sure that this vision is being pushed. and we need to make sure that no one is using Jane as a puppet. Is she a good person? Yes, but I'm not here to to hire her as a good person. I'm here to make sure that the community, I'm the representative from Kyle Wynn, that we're addressing your needs. The educators, we're addressing your needs. So my decision today, Jane, I'm telling you, and I would like you to speak up on it, is that are you going to start with the change of removing SFA from our school district? Because there cannot be, there can be a consideration, there can be maybe or if. Our communities, our people, we don't want it. So I'm asking you to start with the change of removing SFA in our curriculum because it does not work for some of our minority children. And actually, we're not minority, we're the majority in this district. And I just want you to hear, I'm with the community on hearing the voice and make sure that we're hearing today. Also, Jane, I asked you as a leader, you have to make sure that your vision is being pushed. No one else's vision is being pushed. Because as you hear, people are thinking that your vision is not being pushed. Do you have a voice? Yes, you do. But we have to make sure these things that are addressed in this letter, these are deep concerns. And I'm going to go by every single one of them and make sure that they are checked if you are in leadership. So I want you to understand, I like you as a person, but it's bigger than that. Thank you.
I really came here today, not particularly to say anything, but I feel as though I must. I met with Ms. Harper and her staff yesterday for 2.5 hours. I had no intentions in doing that because some of you may know I have come down with an illness. And the illness had particularly worn me down. But I thought it was imperative that I come here today and also putting on a form at my church. So the Lord has held me up to be here today and also to go at 12 o'clock at my church to talk about, many of you know where I have concerns with about our students going to higher learning and how they can get there. I spoke to Ms. Harper about Success for All. I pretty much echoed that it definitely wasn't working in the middle school and some other schools. But we're going to take a tour. Maybe it's affected, maybe the lower levels. I will find that out. I'm glad that Grandma is here today. One of my fights have often been that we should teach vocabulary and grammar. Parochial school teach grammar and language arts, and we should. Before Mr. Rodriguez was talking about the teacher plan, I've been saying that maybe for 10 years. 10 years. And I know with this illness the Lord is telling me, I may not have 10 more years with this district. That's what Monique said in regards to that we are the majority. One area that I'm leading right now and the board is supporting, we need to hire educators and administrators who look like our children. And I'm not just talking about African-American children, Hispanic children, or white children. I'm talking about we have a growing African community, and we have a growing Caribbean community. And we do not have one teacher or one principal who represent that community. When I hear culture, I'm not talking about this culture about negative behavior. I'm talking about culture that we all embody who we are, a multicultural community that we live in. And last but not least, since I only have 1 minute, that we are going to have the education meeting. And when we have the education meeting, it used to be well attended. I like to see everybody who's here today. The education meeting is where we can make the change. The concerns I represent to Ms. Harper came out of Monday meeting. So I believe a change will take place. That we would have strategic planning, a timeline, how we're going to implement it, culture. We're going to look at that we have schools that need to be looked at as far as renovation, investing in the brick and mortar, as well as investing in our children. So our meeting will take place February the 16th, and I hope I see everybody who's here today will attend at 6:30. Thank you.
Hi, good morning, everybody. Thanks for being here on a Saturday. Thank you, board members, for making that commitment. I just want to share my viewpoints on it. I didn't really speak Monday on it. I didn't want it to be clouded in a lot of the dialogue. But as a school board member, very, very proud Penwood alumni, as well as a parent, an elementary school parent in this district, I want to share my very unique perspective. If I could just steal an extra minute, my thoughts and the outlook and on my future expectations of this district, I'd appreciate it. We're at a pivot, right? We're at a pivot that's evidenced by all the feedback, all the attendees here, all the extra anticipated interest at our last few meetings. And without saying, we have a very pivotal decision to make today. It's not a decision that anybody here clearly takes lightly. In fact, I've had more conversation with board members over the past few weeks than I ever had. But that's valuable. There's been increased discussion about how we feel about the future should look, and that's been long overdue. And as you can see, maybe that's our fault. Our conversation topics have included curriculum, race, gangs, politics. I've met with state reps, parents, teachers, principals, as well as school board members and superintendents from other school districts about this one vote. And these conversations simply aren't being had enough. Think about any relationship. If a certain issue is ignored and not addressed for a prolonged period of time, there comes a day when things kind of erupt. Conversations become intense. There are a lot of finger pointing, and ultimately the core issue never even gets resolved. To be clear, I am in very strong support of a new contract for Jane Harper. And if I may take another few minutes, I want to extend just a few of my reasons why. It's not because I feel Jane is perfect. However, none of us are. But she is, in fact, the exact person we need to lead our district in completing the turnaround that William Penn School District has begun in recent years. You see, a turnaround isn't a turnaround if it doesn't get completely turned around, right? Just a few quick reasons. As a school board member and a parent, I have the perspective to observe that Jane is educationally the strongest superintendent we've had here in a very long time. That is important. That's important if a district is ever going to change outcomes. For me, that's where the leader of an education system needs to be strongest. Could she work on communication? Yep. But she knows that. But as a board and a community, we also need to be aware of while we're asking for all these greater touch points of dialogue from her, this extra effort would, by default, reduce the time she's currently spending on curriculum initiatives, principal and teacher evaluations, board meetings, planning and direction of special ed, human resources, people services, Title I regulations, and compliance. This isn't including days like yesterday when she was out representing all of Delaware County students and taxpayers at our Fair Funding press conference half the day. This isn't including a day that could get totally wrecked by bomb threats at our high school or juggling the meet with a parent or community or board member who just kind of pops up during the day. Jane attends almost every single extracurricular activity or sporting event that our students have, all while being a full-time parent, supervisor of 600 staff members, and educator of 5,000 students. And I'm gonna wrap this up, but now keep that 5,000 students number in mind for just a second. One superintendent, 5,000 students. We often relate to Southeast Delco and Upper Darby school districts. Southeast Delco has 3,000 students and 2 superintendents. Upper Darby is twice the size of William Penn, yet has 3 superintendents, but often carry 4. That's multiple superintendents that not only manage the day-to-day efforts, but to also plan, build, communicate, scrape the graffiti off the walls, meet with parents and students. Change is difficult. It's difficult on our students, but yet again, it's more difficult for adults. We often settle in an easy way of doing things that we've always done. It's no mystery that the district has needed a change in its passive approach to education practices. After Joe Bruni's retirement, we asked that a new interim superintendent turn up the challenges for our students. That also means turning up the challenge for our teachers and turning up the challenge for our parents as well, with curriculum decisions that force parents to be a greater part of their children's educational growth. Because what's needed for real sustainable growth and for a family to finally turn around a district like ours, no longer is prudent to only educate.
Time's up.
If I may, I'm a past parent of the district. I've been involved as a parent for 16 years. I've been on the board for 10. And the superintendency is more than SFA to me. It's about a proper K-12 curriculum structure. It's about support of all staff. It's about leading us through the next round of budget differences that could be devastating to us. It's about community education and involvement. It's about a proper discipline structure. And it's about taking care of 5,000 children, their families, and their communities. I am in support of Jane Harbert. I've worked with 4 superintendents before her. I've met various others through various other statewide events, and I think she is top-notch. Are any of us perfect? Absolutely not. I feel that stopping now would be devastating for our children and our families. So that's my message. Thank you. Mr. Hobbs?
I'm Kevin Hobbs. My vote will encompass my comments about Jane Harbert.
That was fast.
Mr. Burrell?
I didn't come up with prepared statements because I got to speak from the heart. And I think we forget that our district is great. We're not the worst district in the world. We're not. That's not who we are. And our district is great because of the people that are sitting back there, not the ones that are sitting up here. So no matter what happens, who gets voted where, no matter what happens, our community is what makes our district great. And I think we need to keep remembering that Pinwood is strong. And I graduated in Philadelphia school system, went to Abraham Lincoln High School. I did not graduate from here, but I had one kid graduate from here already. And I have hosted nieces and nephews that graduated from here, and they keep trickling through the system. And the way I look at it is, I look at the end product. The end product to me is the most important thing, and how did it get there? And you said you've been here for 10 years and you have 4 different superintendents. That's a problem. Yeah, I would love to have a guy to take it for the entire 10 years. I would love for that to happen, but it's just not ideal. But during that time frame, seeing the kids graduate from there they do amazing things. Even when at Widener, I've ran into quite a bit of Penwood graduates. As my frat brothers and friends and coworkers, they're awesome people. And that all, again, it all comes from here, but it all comes back to accountability. We want to hold all the teachers accountable. We all agree. We always want to hold all the teachers accountable. But we have to hold ourselves accountable as a board, as a superintendent. It's unfortunate, but I got to say this, but we all make mistakes. And I don't think it's fair that you have to wear all these mistakes by yourself, but you have to wear some of them. And that's the one piece that I'm not hearing from you, is that, hey, I felt it X, Y, and Z. And that's what makes me nervous about voting for or against you. That's the reason why I'm staying up at night and hearing from the community, because I'm not hearing that accountability from you. And that's something that we have to address before we make a decision. That's all.
You know, the biggest concern I have is I hear everyone say the students is our main concern. But I really ask you, is that your main concern? We're here to vote for superintendent. These personal agendas should be thrown out the window. We're here for the best person that's for the job. No, we're not the best school district, but we put out the efforts to do the best that we can. And as a Monday night's meeting, you said everything should be done decently and in order. That was not done here. You know, would I like to see changes here? Yes. Security is one of the big issues here. The academic standard is a big issue. But there's no magic wand here. We can't wave a wand and say this is going to happen overnight. With the help of this board, the administration, the community, parents, we can get it done. But don't look at the board and the superintendent to do it all. We all play a part in this, and we all should be putting forth an effort to work together to make things happen. Oliver Wendell Holmes said, greatness is not in where we stand, but in what direction we're going. So, no one is perfect, but we work at improvements. Thank you.
Ms. Fitty? Thank you, Ms. Richardson.
Last meeting, I didn't get to sleep till 2 o'clock in the morning. I've been in this district for 58 years. I didn't come on the board till both my sons graduated because I didn't want to be picked on or kind of be involved with whatever vote or not vote I did. As being on the board, I've been through one superintendent, that was Joe Bruni, who was very visible in every school, every athletic program, everywhere. He was there. Someone brought up bomb threats. I noticed the bomb threat just started when Brandon Cooley had left, and I don't know why. I'm on the streets. I'm out there. My one thing, strategic plan is my main thing. When you get an update like this and you read through it, you might miss a page or two. But when you get an update like this, on Friday, something's highlighted. Well, I didn't see highlighted of the 9th grade center. And then moving 10, 11, 12. The high school had 4 periods. I worked them. Then they went to 3 periods. Now when you move the 9th grade academy to the high school, now there's overcrowding for the first period. I went there, and it was horrendous. It was horrendous. As a lunchroom monitor back in the day, I couldn't have controlled that because it was so horrendous. Also, moving K to 6 to a different timeline. Also in an update that was not highlighted. I was there for the first day. It was horrendous. People were dropping off the kids, no one was there. I called the principal, Mrs. Kubik. She said, I'm on my way. I'm opening the door. Did you know? No, I didn't know. Because it was an update that wasn't highlighted. Now I have a police officer there every day waiting for the school to, Miss Kubik opens early now to let these kids in. Now someone mentioned after and morning school program. I called each school in the district. The only district school has it is Evans, morning and after school program. Now if this was strategically planned, I wouldn't care about the time change, because then there'd be someone there for these children to greet. Then after school, the people can work with their kids' homework, and then they go home, and parents wouldn't have to be burdened so much with all this homework, knowing that the work or what have you. Also, we pay dearly for Chromebooks. I called several schools, and then the only one school that has it is the 9th grade center. East Lansdowne did not receive the Chromebooks. Miss Phyllis Kubik took it out of her budget to buy some laptops for the school, but we can't use them because that room is leaking at the time. My whole thing is this with this. I'm not going on a personal issue. I don't go to that level. Yes, there has been called through many school board directors, and yes, there's been some backlashing and bad mouthing. I didn't play that in high school, and I don't play it now. I raised my 2 boys. They didn't want to be here that long. They went morning and then worked in the afternoon and went to their tech. We had problems back in the day, and yes, there were gangs. They were called different gangs. My problem is, as a board director, I have to vote what my constituents want me to. They elected me. They elected me. Because to do the best job for them, our parents, our children, and what have you. I have to hear their voice. I can't even go into Wawa for 2 seconds. And I get hit with, I'm like, well, how can I help you? Give me a call, what have you. Jane, it's not a personal issue with me. It's an issue of community. I've been in this community for 58 years. I'd like to know, your son, your grandson, will be moving to 10th grade next year. How we then protect him and all the other children with what's going on today.
Oh, he'll be protected.
Excuse me.
Thank
you, Ms. Fitty.
Who had a question?
So, sorry.
She can't answer. So she can't answer anything?
We're not going back and forth.
I'm talking kind. She can't ask anything.
Excuse me, Ms.
There's
Fitty.
no obligation. I'm asking her a question.
She thinks she runs everything.
I'm asking her a question.
Y'all need a new president.
That is
The reason, I'm asking you a question for a reason.
I understand you're asking. The board procedure, I
Not
think,
everything.
have set for this meeting was that it was
And I have
going to be
people to look up to.
public comment, board comment, vote.
Thank you, and that's what I want the public to understand and hear. Thank you.
Can that be repeated so that everybody does hear? and
Exactly,
understand?
thank you.
Procedure for this meeting, and it's now obviously a special meeting, the second time this issue has been on the agenda, was that it would be public comment, board comment, and then a vote, not a dialogue, in part to avoid some of the chaos that happened last Monday.
Thank you.
Okay, Mr. Cup, can you call the vote, please?
Okay, this is a roll call vote in order of board member seniority. A yes vote is a vote in support of the motion on the floor. Okay? Ms. Hummel?
With my commitment to do my part in what needs to be done, I will vote to support Jane Harper.
Yes or no?
This gentleman.
Mrs. Fitty?
No.
Mr. Wright?
I'll come back to me.
Mrs. Richardson?
Yes.
Ms. Boykins?
Come back to me.
Mr. Burrell?
Come back to me as well.
Mr. Hobbs?
Yes.
Mr. Cave?
Yes.
Ms. Hoff?
Yes.
Mr. Wright?
Yes.
Ms. Boykins?
Yes.
Mr. Burrell?
No.
Motion passes 6-3.